15 nations of OPEC have still not been able to decide by how much to increase the price of oil. Saudi Arabia...
How much time we got?
Yesterday, for further consultations with his government, he returned to the Vienna... This is Ed Fletcher in Vienna.
Take two, Q Howard.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. I want you to get up right now. Get up, go to your windows, open them, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. Things have got to change.
How many stations does this go out live?
Get mad.
67. I know it goes to Louisville and Atlanta.
I'm not going to take this anymore. Then we'll figure out what to do about the depression and the inflation and the oil crisis. But first, get up out of your chairs, open the window, stick your head out and yell, and say, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Who are you talking to, Howard?
Okay, thank you, Jeremy. The famous line that mattered as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore, gave rise to what I wanted to talk about today. And when I discussed it with Les, he said, yeah, come on in and talk about your idea. I didn't realize that we're really talking about launching a kind of new product. But before I get into that, I'd like to just mention that I'm not here to talk about the recession. I'm not here to complain. I'm here to talk about not complaining and about doing something, given the fact that we have been through a recession. And for those of us who are in business here in the Hudson Valley, the wisdom is that the recession tends to start later than it does nationally, and it tends to linger longer than it does nationally. But what the main message is that we are not going to have someone else take us out of whatever doldrums our independent, small, micro businesses may be in. We're going to have to do it ourselves. And we can make it happen. And I want to talk a little bit today about how we can make it happen. We have a $15 trillion economy. We have 310 million people in our population. We've grown almost 10% since the last census. And the global markets even create more opportunity. So the things may not be as comfortable as they were before 2007, but there certainly are markets there that we can tap and value we can create, and we can go and get the business. So what I want to do today is talk about two things. First, I want to outline how I think we can go out and get more sales. And then secondly, I want to talk about a way that we can offer you to help you do that. Let me begin by saying that this is all about micro businesses and small businesses. And we're really talking to two groups here today and two groups that we'll be talking with less about in the near future, like Beth is. We're talking about entrepreneurs who have a product or an intellectual property that needs funding, and you need to go out and find sources of funding to move your product forward. But we're also talking in the Hudson Valley about ongoing businesses that have been established, like the people with the salami business, and they need to find new ways, we need to find new ways to go out and find more customers, find more of the right customers. Both of these businesses, both the tech startups and both the ongoing family businesses and the micro businesses, share two things in common. They don't have enough time, they don't have enough resources, they don't have the right attention to go do what we need to do to find more business. And I think there's another issue which really gave rise to what I'm talking about this morning, and I call it the Kingston kvetching. When I moved my business from Manhattan to Kingston long before the recession, 1995, I thought it would be a great opportunity to work in a national market, but be located in a comfortable, small-town atmosphere where I could walk out and meet the banker, meet my insurance person, and you can do that. It's a wonderful place to work. But what I found was, as I got to know more and more people, even when times were good, they would complain about, I'm not being able to get more business. How can I get more business? I can't afford someone like you, but I really need to know how to do it. And I realized that that there is a way that any of us, even the smallest of our businesses, can go out and find more customers, more of the right customers. And that led me to create what I call Compass. Compass is an acronym called for Creative Opportunity Mapping, Planning, and Strategy Process. And it's an acronym. I must give credit to my former colleague, Gretchen Reed, who is now the Director of Communications at Mohonk Preserve. She's the greatest acronym creator I have ever met. But Compass, it's a long name, but it is really opportunity mapping, and it's a good name because as an opportunity mapping, it points us in the right direction. And by that I mean, it's a process that goes ready, aim, fire versus ready, fire, aim. And I think you all know what I'm talking about, that so often we get an idea, we think it's going to help our marketing, we go for the idea, it's a tactic, and the tactic doesn't really get great results because it's not driven by a solid set of goals and a solid strategy. So let me move into how Compass works, and then I'll talk a little bit more about how we might make that available to our community. Compass works in 4 steps. The first step is we define and assay your critical aspects of your business, including the mission, the goals, your current business strategies, and the business environment. Now, this takes place in a workshop setting, so it's not just that one is sitting there and scratching their head and doing it, but our idea is that there will be a workshop of workshop of different businesses, and we would have one another, supporting one another, helping create ideas, helping create strategies. But in the very beginning, we look at the situation that we're in. In step 2, having examined your situation, we look at the opportunities for growth and success. Easily said, but this is where the power of teamwork comes in, where the power of brainstorming comes into play. We're all too busy. We're all so close to our businesses. We have habits that keep us from looking beyond the scope of where we are. Having people around us in a workshop setting will certainly help us do a better job at seeing opportunities that may be before us, but opportunities that we don't recognize at the moment. And you know, I think personally there's no better group of people to be with under any circumstance than with a group of entrepreneurs. This is why I so like coming to these meetings, and I know Les shares the same feeling, that there's just a tremendous amount of energy, optimism, refusal to let whatever comes about put us down, than being in a room with entrepreneurs. And I think that that is something that could make Compass a truly exceptional experience for people. Moving on to the third steps, we take these opportunities and we prioritize them, and then we select just one. Well, actually, we prioritize the opportunities. We select 3, and then from 3, we end up with just one. One opportunity to work on. One opportunity that is, high speed versus slow speed, easiest versus most difficult, most feasible versus least feasible. From all these opportunities, we pick one that we want to examine, we want to work on, we want to see how we can implement. And then in step 4, we take that opportunity through 6 steps. First, we clearly define the opportunity, and we have our peers around us, our fellow entrepreneurs, helping us focus so that we're being really candid, we're being specific, we're being hard about our facts. Then we look at what are the factors that hold back, that limit us, and we articulate what those are. The next step is we look at what are the things that we have available to us that can fuel these opportunities, that can help us actually realize them. And there's some digging in here. It may be, sure, we have to look and see what kind of money that might be available, but there may be partners, there may be family, there may be situations, there may be events, there may be organizations like Beth's organizations that it's there you don't even know is there until you start looking and you start researching. Then we go into what we call the creative strategy, which is all about how. How are we going to overcome the limits? How are we going to seize the resources we have and make something happen? And then we take that decision and we lay out the action steps. What specific steps do we need to take when in order to seize the opportunity that we've examined and we've come up with? These steps will be used to organize your activities, moving from the very first to the final step. But before we push the action button, we also decide how do we want to measure our success. Again, seizing one opportunity may not end up being a way to add X% to the bottom line by itself. It may contribute to adding X% to the bottom line. So we really want to be really clear about looking at an opportunity, what is it going to give us, and how that plays into the larger goal of, say, growing our business or adding X% to the bottom line. That way we can track its success, and the whole idea of Compass is that we would do this 4 times a year or 3 times a year, however many times makes sense, so that we would have a series of opportunities being sought. We'd have a period of time in which we could achieve the action on one opportunity, and then another, and then another. The thinking being that what if with small businesses, our small family businesses, our startups, if we were moving purposefully, taking action, and getting results. So that is the notion behind opportunity mapping. It is a process that we developed. We haven't launched yet, so what I'm realizing as I'm speaking less is we really are talking about launching a new product, a new service. And the next step will be that we, JMC Marketing Communications, will be working in partnership with HVCFI to run the first 1 or 2 pilot opportunity mapping workshops in the early part of next year. We've got a commitment from Dragon Search Marketing, and Rick is out there clicking the slides for me. Thank you. They have Dragon Search Marketing is an outstanding social marketing and search engine optimization company based here in Kingston. And like us, it works nationally. And they're moving into new digs on 280 Wall Street, and they're making their conference room available to us for the very first beta testing of the opportunity mapping workshops. We'll have more information flowing to you, and if you can just flip the slide, we can. Okay, sorry, it didn't. The colors didn't play on the screen, but if you would contact Les Newman, who you all know, or me, John Mallen, and my email address is john@mallen.com. We will be glad to follow through with you, and we'll be promulgating information on the startup of the next or the very first beta test workshops. Our hope is to shake it out, to make it work really well, really practically, and then offer this as a service to a larger number of small and family-owned businesses, startup businesses in the Hudson Valley. And that's the idea that we have. We wanted to present it to you today to let you know about it, invite you to contact us and come on board for the early workshops in January or February. And we'll be letting you know how this goes as time rolls on. Thank you. And if you have any questions.
Anybody have any questions? Hold on.
What exactly are these workshops? Are they to test out your process or to apply the process to a potential business?
We actually did one beta test of the workshop, so we know it works. We did it, unfortunately, with a multinational company, and we did it by accident with a business unit, and we had teams from around the world break out and follow this process, and it actually worked very well. What we want to do is test it with real small businesses, micro businesses. So if I'm answering your question correctly, the businesses would sign up for the workshop, and we take them through the process. We would have, the vision is to have groups of 5 or 6 people around a table. Those 5 or 6 in a certain size company may be from the same company, or from much smaller, maybe 5 or 6 owners of smaller companies. We would have moderators in the room for each group, people who are from the communications field, like Jeremy's group, like Connie Schneider, who's with us here today, like Dragon Search Marketing, each of us bringing our own disciplines and helping coach the entrepreneurs through the process. What we'd like to do is have 1 or 2 of those workshops in January or February and really fine-tune the process. And then we have some plans to go out and find some sponsorship, if possible, and begin offering it on a wider basis. Nothing can do better than helping the businesses that are here find ways to do better and grow. And we think that will be one of the most powerful contributors to our regional economic development that there is.
Great job, John. Thank you.
You're welcome.